Let's move on, though, into the next pick, actually, in the title. First non-quarterback to be in a title, Tremaine Edmunds, making his way in there. Dave, you're welcome. As you're welcoming to Tremaine Edmunds that he's in there. But really, the meat and potatoes of this is Josh Allen. And the Bills getting 2 picks, getting up for Josh Allen. They take Tremaine Edmunds later on. Are these guys the centerpieces for the Bills?
First off, I love that the Bills traded up twice. We were talking about them trading up like big to get 1 quarterback. Mm-hmm. I like how they still had 2 picks in the first round and smartly moved up. I like that idea from the Bills. I think Tremaine Edmunds could be a centerpiece on that defense. It's going to take time for him to become that. And you guys probably know my stance on Josh Allen. I think it's going to take a while for him to become a centerpiece. Does he have the potential to do so? Yes. But he has the lowest floor, in my mind, out of all 5 of the quarterbacks that went in the first round. This kid, yes, he has a massive arm, can throw 80 yards, has massive power. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, he has a big frame, has some mobility for that frame, but outside of that, I see nothing positive in his tape. Again, people talk about his work ethic, people talk about his drive, people talk about his competitiveness, but I was listening to a local radio show where the Chicago Bears long snapper, Pat Manley, came in and said, I hate when people say, oh, he's a competitor, because we're all competing. It's a competition. It's sports. That's what we fucking do.
Some guys turn it up to another level. Like Baker Mayfield, turns it up to another level.
But with Mayo spread on white bread, Josh Allen here.
Yeah. Wyoming doing nothing out there.
I don't see him being I don't see franchise quarterback in him.
What do you think, Dave?
I mean, I think Sean's line of logic, I sort of see where he's going with this bust word that he refuses to say out loud, so I'll just say bust. Just get out of the way, Sean. Be a man about it. No, I think Josh Allen, he has...
Dave coming hard tonight.
I don't even care. I'm gonna be wrong, and they're gonna yell at me. I don't care, Bob. I don't care. Buffalo. I think they did the 2 things they need. They got themselves a quarterback, and they got themselves a linchpin of that defense to build on for the future. I think both of those were needs, and they hit them both. I'm cool with that. I think they took the wrong Josh with the pick. It's fine. I respect that. Josh Allen, though, I will give you the credit. Like Sean said, physically, he's got all the tools. What has he been able to put together so far? Nothing. I don't think that that's super promising at all. I mean, I made the comment during the draft about Bortles' equivalency. Yes, he's got a big body. He is all there physically, but when it comes to playing the game at a high level against a high level competition, we're yet to be seen. So could he compete at the next level and do well? Absolutely. He has every reason he should be able to do so. Can he put it all together when it comes time for him to start? I don't know. I've got massive questions, and I hope that he doesn't get pushed into a role where he has to play in the first year, because he is the least NFL-ready quarterback that we have seen.
The least NFL ready?
I might say Lamar might be more least NFL ready.
Really?
Yeah, to step in and
Lamar's
play.
a much more accurate passer.
I would say that Lamar would be, because Lamar also played with a pro-style head coach in college and a pro-style system.
No, I'm just saying, looking at his body, looking at his ability to rate, I think he gets by, and he did get by in ACC play with his athleticism, and that he's a dual threat. Maybe he'll get by in the NFL like that, but I would say from a quarterback standpoint, I would say Lamar is less ready. Just from reading NFL defenses, putting the ball in the money. I mean, Lamar Jackson isn't supremely accurate as well. Both guys had under 60% completion percentage in college. I'm just saying in that I think that Lamar Jackson needs more work and more tweaking on his mechanics than Josh Allen does, because it seems like Josh Allen, from the time of the end of the bowl game to now, it seems like he's been working a ton on his mechanics and shoring up those abilities. So, and I think Josh Allen also, you hear a ton about him in the game, in the film room, making sure, reading defenses, seeing what it's like. He seems like a very smart kid and understands football. I would say that will help him be more NFL ready than Lamar Jackson is, because you don't really hear that coming out for Lamar Jackson. So I would say Lamar probably talent-wise is more ready, but I think to actually go out, read defenses, I think Allen might be more ready.
Now, here's what I always go back to with Josh Allen is the good thing for the Bills is they don't have to throw him in right away.
Right.
They signed A.J. McCarron, and looking at his contract, they have him for this year. Potential out, kind of like Mike Glennon with the Bears, but we do have them like, oh, next year it's $3 million instead of $900K. That $2 million signing bonus helps this year though, so it's kind of backloaded that way. But they have them for this year. They probably have them for next year. The thing though, when I looked at Josh Allen's tape, was it's like he's got the arm, he's got the size, he's a good athlete. It's like he's not Lamar Jackson level of athlete, but he's a good athlete. He can get out of the pocket, and it reminded me of Big Ben, where it's like I'm not going to scramble to get you 5-10 yards. I'm going to scramble to extend the play. And there were some where it's like guy would be draped on him, and he brushes him off and throws it. The two things I didn't like, accuracy was one where I feel like in the right system with the right throws, like building your system around a quarterback. I know they mentioned that with Lamar a lot, where it's like
trying to hide his deficiencies.
Yeah, let's not try to like. Jared Goff is a guy they bring up. They tried to Jeff Fisher slam the square peg into a square hole. It didn't fit. Where McVay came in and said, "Hey, we got the square. Let's build the mold around it."
Yep.
Where maybe they got to do that a little bit. The biggest thing I didn't like was decision making, where he'd be running outside. I'm going to throw it, and then boom, Josh Jackson picks it off and is going 90 yards to the house.
Another thing that stuck out to me was under pressure. He just his ability to be a quarterback went out the window. Again, he tried to extend plays, but it was similar to Jay Cutler, where the form, the mechanics went out the window. And you know, he'd be throwing off his back foot. He'd be scrambling. His feet wouldn't be set. He'd be throwing, not with his shoulder pointed to the wide receiver, where he'd have his feet wide out, spread out more like this instead of this. And he has the arm talent to do that. But again, that's not going to be leading to accurate passes, and obviously shows in the stats.
Could that be a coaching thing though? Like, could a guy like Sean McDermott
are you getting top level coaches at Wyoming?
No, but
I mean the coaches are good, but it's not like you're getting.
Was Carson Wentz's coach.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting.
So
Sean McDermott, you're not getting NFL talent.
But that was one thing that he's worked off in the offseason with I think Trent Dilfer's been a part of it. Working on his footwork and his mechanics. That's one thing that people have really said about Josh Allen. But another thing that sticks out to me is they didn't let him throw the ball. Wyoming was not a good team. He threw the ball 270 times in Wyoming. I mean, that's not a ton. He only completed 152 passes. Lamar Jackson, we're talking about him as not a pure passer, threw the ball 430 times last year. I mean, that kid was the offense, but Josh Allen in the Big Sky or whatever the hell Wyoming plays against Wyoming competition as the best player on the team, a top 10 pick, only throwing the ball 270 times. In this style of the NFL where we are going out, we're throwing the ball every single play over 30 times in a game, that doesn't bode well for me.
Pace the offense.
Mountain West, by the way.
Mountain West.
Yeah, and
it used to probably be Big Sky, I think. They're the Big Sky State, I think.
It's very much the pace of the game that they played, and that's the thing that he may have to adjust to at the NFL level is being asked to do more. And like you said, already under the questionable decision-making went under the gun in those critical situations. So if we're going to pin more and more on him, how is he going to be able to take all that on? You said he's a good student of the game. He's very interested in spending time in the locker room, watching tape, watching film of the game. But unless he can put it together on the field when it matters, like, it doesn't matter. Maybe you should be a coach if it doesn't work for him. Like, I get it. You care about the game, but you have every reason to be good at this game. He needs to figure out how to put together. Thankfully, like you said, A.J. McCarron provides the safety blanket of you don't have to go out there and prove it day one.
Well, and I mean, you mentioned this before the podcast, Dave, and I get this could happen where it's almost like Trubisky with the Bears, where he's not going to start. Glennon's the starter. Shit, how many games in? All right, we're going to go to Trubisky.
Like, let's be realistic. How much are we hurting ourselves?
I hope that doesn't happen because to me, Trubisky coming in and Josh Allen coming in, two different levels. Like, first off, Trubisky didn't have the decision-making questions that we were asking about Josh Allen. Plus, Trubisky was never a guy we said, oh, he's going to wait for 2 years. It was, oh, he'll sit for one because they have Mike Glennon. But it was never like Trubisky will be a 3-year guy.
What was the biggest knock on Mitch?
For Mitch?
Yeah.
Only played
13 games in college.
Yep.
Josh Allen has showed much less in much more games. That's a problem to me. You know, of course, like there's the big arm, there's the big traits. My dad, who barely ever talks about NFL draft, comes out and says he loves Josh Allen. Big arm, and then use the muscle emoji. It's like, again, these guys can have big arms, but what are you doing on the field with your talent?
How much did that big arm work for Jay Cutler?
Exactly. Well, but that's different though, because Jay had
still won.
But I'm saying is, big arm quarterback doesn't mean championship quarterback.
Right. The guy that I go to is Rex Grossman. All right?
Sexy Rexy.
Under 58% completion percentage in college. That was in the SEC, by the way. Still, again, that whole number that I love about yards per attempt. Under 7 for Rex, under 7 for Josh. You want that over 7 because that means, hey, we're taking shots more down the field. We're taking bigger shots, and we're just not completing those passes. In, averaging, 6.6 yards per attempt for Josh Allen and completing like 56% of those passes, and he's not having that big of a workload, those stats mean something. To be a great NFL quarterback, you need to dominate at your level. You're going up against Mountain West competition, and you're not dominating. You're going up against big competition, Big Ten competition in Iowa. Not even the cream of the crop there. A good program with Kirk Ferentz, but not the cream of the crop, and you look abysmal out there. That speaks levels to me. Again, what he does and puts work in the offense, it's commendable. Great job, Josh. Go out and do that. But again, it's something, and I think, we didn't talk about this yet, but the whole thing with Josh Allen, like, I do have some sympathy for him because obviously it seemed like there was a pre-planned attack against him to release those tweets. Again, I'm not condoning those tweets. I don't know the context of those tweets, but that didn't seem like someone saying, oh, hey, this kid might have issues and not be, open and fair and a respectable person to every human being. It was more of, I want my client to go higher than Josh Allen. That's what it
was
seemed
about millions of dollars in the air.
If it was actually coming from a caring place, then I would have cared. But that seemed more like a pre-planned attack. So I do feel a little bit for Josh Allen there. I'm glad that he's getting the opportunity at 7. But what I have seen from Josh Allen on the field makes me, again, very worried about him being an NFL quarterback, and more worried about him being an NFL quarterback than Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield isn't mature at all, but Baker Mayfield went on the field and proved it.
The one thing I'm going to fact check you with from earlier, because I just looked into it, is correct that the Wyoming coach did have Carson Wentz, but he was the head coach for Carson his first 2 years when Carson had 16 and 30 attempts. So Carson wasn't the starter until after Bull left. So it's like, he coached Carson Wentz, but was Carson Wentz.
But how many NCAA Division II champions?
That was the guy who won 3 in a row.
The guy still know how to coach.
Yeah, he knows how to coach. But I just don't want someone to go, Carson wasn't the starter at that point.
Yeah, they're probably going to yell at me when it takes about Josh Allen anyways.
Yeah, I mean, for me with Josh Allen, it's like I see the traits of a quarterback that can...
Are we just looking at checklists, basically? I mean, that's what I feel like. You have the guys who are like, he's over 6'2", he weighs this much, he can run a 40 in this time. Like, I feel like it's become so mechanical that like people throw tape out of the window at this point. And like, I hate the line, but do you even watch the games? Like, that's what, when I come back, you can check all these boxes, but if you watch him play, you don't see someone who can compete at the next level.
Wouldn't it be asinine to say a 6'1" quarterback just went number 1 overall like 5 years ago? So the fact that I think that's boding well for
it's trending in the right direction.
It's trending in the right direction. The fact that Baker went number 1 is a huge win for quarterbacks because it really isn't putting you in a box anymore.
Like the thing that you mentioned, like when I watched the film for all of these guys, it wasn't, and this goes for any of the top 5 guys, I didn't watch their film and go, man, this guy's going to be a bad pro. I always looked at it where it was like, all right, here's some things that I don't like. Here's some things that like they'll have to work on. But with all 5 of them, I thought, these guys can be drafted and produce at the college level. Are all of them going to be championship Super Bowl guys? No. But like with Josh Allen, it's going to be the big thing for me is decision making. Is are you going to be able to fix that at the next level? Because these corners up here, these safeties up here, they'll jump all over you if they know what you're going to do. You gotta learn to look them off.
The thing is just, again, I looked at him, I watched his tape, I took in everything that I read about this kid, and it's the reason why he was my 5th quarterback in coming into this draft. I'm not a fan of him. I don't see franchise quarterback in him. And like you said, you could see the potential in everyone else. Josh Rosen was my favorite quarterback. I think he has the ability on the field. Baker Mayfield proved it that he was that he has the ability to win games. Sam Darnold, again, has every single thing in a nice package. He's a leader. He's good on the field. Sam Darnold is pretty much the perfect quarterback prospect that you'd like. Lamar Jackson has the athletic ability that we really don't see at that quarterback position. Josh Allen, you could pick apart his tape every single play. There was always typically something wrong with his play.
I wouldn't say there were a few good plays.
75% of the time there was something going wrong in one of his plays. Like again, even if it ended up in a completed pass, footwork was a problem. Again, like just his mechanics were problems.
Well, and
that's one thing where if there's a guy who I'm saying he's not a franchise guy, it's easily Josh Allen.
The only thing that's going to make this bad is if we're still saying this 2 years down the line.
That's true.
That's it.
Like, if he hasn't grown in that time period, he's a project. We all know that.
Yeah, we're not expecting these guys to come in and boom, Super Bowl year 1.
I mean, yeah, not everybody can year 2 Carson Wentz it, but let's be honest.
Well, Carson Wentz didn't even Carson Wentz it.
I know he was on track.
Well, he got him to the playoffs. So.
He was on the right pace. But my point
being, the games in the playoffs? Nick Foles, baby.
He's equal to some say equal to Peyton Manning. Yeah, some say
both threw 7 touchdowns in the game.
Yep, that happened. My point being, or my question that I want to get to is Josh Allen. Like every one of these quarterbacks, Sean kind of lists off a couple of things that made them special and stand out. What makes Josh Allen special? What makes him such a highly rated player? Is it just his body? I mean, is there something that he does better than everyone?
Can I jump in real quick because this is more of a bitchy remark? What he can do is he can throw the ball 80 yards in a dome with no one pressuring him.
Is that a combine joke?
Yeah, it's a combine joke. Oh, he threw the ball 80 yards with no defenders in shorts with no wind.
That was a bomb, though. That was a bomb.
All right, that's
all respect. Okay. That was a bomb.
Can the guys at the longest drive competition win the Masters? Fuck no.
I mean,
there's a reason they're not playing in the pros.
No Happy Gilmores here.
No Happy Gilmore. But for me, my 2 best traits that I like in Josh Allen is 1, the arm, because he's got tremendous arm strength. Number 2 is what I said.
You're impressed by my arm sometimes.
Your arm? You just throw fast. That's why.
He hurt my
he farves it and hurts my hand. But the other thing
anyone can throw hard, baby.
The other thing I like about it is when I was watching the tape and he did scramble out, it was like I said, where it reminded me of Big Ben, where it's like I'm gonna extend, have this big body, so
tackles.
I'm not gonna be easily swallowed up, and I can extend the play, and then with my arm, I can get that down the field and not short arm it.
Out of the last couple of Super Bowls, who's been the strong-armed quarterback who's won them?
And that's the thing is
strong arm is great.
Strong arm doesn't get you.
That's not what wins you a championship.
You got to have this.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and that's where I think
it's a lot of things. It's not just the arm.
With these 2 years, we're going to have to see improve. Like I'm not on the level of Sean to where it's like, oh, Josh Allen's a bust. I think that, I see the good in his game and I see what he could be. It's just, for me, he's got this. It's just fixing the decision-making and then being a little bit more accurate. Because, like I asked Brandon when we talked about the quarterbacks, was his accuracy all just accuracy? Or was some of that accuracy making poor decisions, ill-advised decisions, instead of making the better decision?
But even then, good quarterbacks can it's something where you're playing against Mountain West competition. You're making the wrong decisions against worse defenses, and you're still not able to be accurate. Like again, the guy that you keep comparing to, Big Ben. Big Ben was seen as the best quarterback in the MAC conference his junior year. Josh Allen wasn't. Josh Allen was seen as the 3rd best quarterback in the Mountain West. In Ben Roethlisberger's junior year, 69.1% completion percentage, 4,486 yards, threw the ball almost 500 times, had a 37-10 touchdown to interception ratio. Again, Big Ben had the body. He had the ability, but he also proved it. And that's the thing. Until Josh Allen proves it, I am not buying into him being a franchise quarterback.
And that's complete. I can see that towards okay.
You make a compelling case, Sean.
He doesn't he didn't produce. I'm not going to buy into it. For me, the thing I relate it to is my experience throughout music, where it's I'm not getting something. I'm not getting something with my fingers. Sometimes having a different teacher, someone else, show you something in a different way. Like maybe with the decision making, his coaches were showing him one thing and it's just not clicking, where Sean McDermott's going to show him another thing and it's going to be like, oh, aha.
Okay, so we want a former defensive coordinator to teach Josh Allen how to play quarterback?
Oh, I'm not saying teach, but like just because I'm a defensive coach doesn't mean I'm not going to help the quarterback.
Okay,
like, it's going to be the offensive staff that works on the most.
We want Sean McDermott, who made the decision to play Nathan Peterman over Tyrod Taylor, to be teaching him how to read.
Brian DeBall, the offensive coordinator. Maybe it's just having a different voice show you something. Like my point is a different voice showing you something different that maybe clicks something.
And maybe
for
I think the better chance of him doing that was Trent Dilfer, former first-round pick, won a Super Bowl with Baltimore. Wasn't that great on the field, but still, I mean, that doesn't mean you can't be a good coach.
Dime, baby.
And one thing, I mean, Trent speaks very highly of him. Trent also had some terrible takes on NFL Network. Not trying to discredit his on ESPN.
He has been off.
Not trying to discredit his coaching
shots
abilities
all over the place today.
No, I'm not trying to throw shots at him. I was just trying to be a dick.
There's a difference.
But
trying to say Trent's word is not gospel.
No, but I also think that Trent has the ability to teach a quarterback. Like again, he's been in those shoes. And Brian, again, former Patriot guy, former Alabama guy. I just don't know if Brian didn't make Tom Brady Tom Brady. You know, he didn't make Jimmy Garoppolo. I just don't know, again, if he has the right coaches around him. And again, you got to prove it at some point. And for 2 years, we won't know if he's going to be able to prove it. And when will the Bills' whole window close? And another thing is, Buffalo doesn't have a great offensive line. They just got rid of Cordy Glenn. They just got rid of their best piece. Richie Incognito just retired.
To be honest,
you're going to put a terrible quarterback behind a terrible offensive line?
TBH, we do have picks. They do have picks to use the rest of this draft to fill that tackle spot. Like, they signed a guy, but it's like, the health of that line has been a question.
All right, Connor Williams is still available. Connor Williams be on the board. Orlando Brown, will Orlando Brown be on the board? Even if you take Orlando Brown, let's talk about a kid who's not motivated, not putting his all into the biggest day of his life in the combine. I don't buy into this Josh Allen pick at all. And I hope he proves me wrong. I'm not wishing ill on any of these quarterbacks, but if I'm picking one guy and betting my car again,
you don't have it.
It's a joke. If I had to bet my car again on one of these guys not panning out in the NFL, it's Josh Allen, and I'm not blinking.
So you're gonna bet your next car?
Yeah, I'm gonna bet my non-imaginary children, or whatever that guy said.
Non-existent
children. I just don't buy into this Josh Allen pick. I do like what Buffalo did, because again, you're going after potential in Josh Allen, and you go after and get Tremaine Edmunds, a 19-year-old that's super raw, has a ton of athleticism. I love that pick because he proved something on the field at Virginia Tech, and you just see the ceiling being massive and the floor being, fairly low. I see Allen's ceiling maybe being a Big Ben, but his floor being horrible. Like absolute Brock Osweiler garbage. Like, I just don't see Josh Allen panning out.
Well, and we'll have to see what happens. You mentioned Tremaine Edmunds. My little thing about that is just this defense is getting better. Like, Tremaine Edmunds, youngest player in this draft, has to me the most to kind of grow. I don't want to say grow. That's the word I'm looking for. I was going to say gain, but they have Kyle Williams. They make the Washington pick. They get Shaq Lawson. Adding another pick like Tremaine Edmunds just makes this defense a little bit better. To me, the biggest question was that quarterback, though. Like, and will Josh Allen be the guy to be a
regardless of if they picked the guy or not, they got their quarterback of the future. That's our answer.
Here's the last thing I want to ask into this, and I saved this to last because it really doesn't matter, but I still want to get your guys' opinion on it. What do you guys think of the whole, not really what happened with Josh Allen, with the whole tweet coming out, just the overall of how many times do we have, we found this out about a player, let's stash it away. And then, day of the draft, we're going to drop this bomb on them. Biggest day of your life, we're going to drop it on you.
I think Sean kind of hit it on the head. It's definitely maliciously done, and I feel like it's done by another player's agent.
You think so?
It's due diligence.
Okay.
You're out to get your guy the best chance and to make the most money. How do you do that? You can tank other people's stock if they did something stupid in their past.
Because the thing that Shefty said today, and Shefty was like, I'm not saying our team did this, but he goes, back in January, all the teams like kind of scoured through the social media.
Yep.
And none of these tweets were found by nobody.
Right.
Like Josh Allen already went through and said, shit, this don't look good. Delete, delete, delete.
Yep.
Someone found it before, and he goes, I don't know if it was another team that wanted him to fall to them. So they're like, okay, we're going to hang on to this. Was it another player's agent that's like, hey, screw this guy. My quarterback is a lot better than that. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I just think it's shitty to, especially with this, because it's all the way back in high school. Like you said in our text group, Dave, thank God that when you go to job interviews, people are not taking what I said in high school and stuff and acting as like what I am right now.
Exactly.
I just think it's shitty that we, on the biggest day of these kids' lives, we drop something like that they did in high school to ruin their day.
It's 1:15 a.m., so I'm totally buying into conspiracy theories.
Go ahead.
Who was the guy that was drafted behind Josh Allen?
Josh Rosen.
Who was pissed off that he wasn't taken higher?
So you're saying Josh
Rosen's agent?
Whose family is fairly well off?
Josh Rosen?
Just saying.
I was really hoping you'd go there.
The one thing...
I'm just saying. I'm not Charlie from
the shoe fits.
Charlie in the mailroom.
Carol!
From It's Always Sunny. But I would be putting pictures up, and maybe strings would be attaching.
You guys in our text group, I'll say this because it didn't happen.
Sure.
My conspiracy theory after it came out, like I got this aha moment of, oh shit. Like after Shefty said it could have been a team, I'm thinking, all right, Baker goes number 1. Darnold goes to the Jets. Bills trade up for Allen. Our Bills trade up for Josh Rosen. Then I'm like, Cardinals trade up for Lamar Jackson. Right at 11, the Miami Dolphins. They didn't care about Laramie Tunsil and his issue when he was falling. They need a quarterback. If Josh Allen's there, they'd be like, well, we could take him. Strong arm quarterback. And then I'm like, Jay Cutler, strong arm quarterback. What was his best year? Adam Gase. Who's the head coach of the Dolphins? Adam Gase. And I'm drawing all these lines in my head. And I'm like the Miami Dolphins. I even said it to Brad today. I'm like, book it. He's going to be a Dolphin.
You know how tall Ryan Tannehill is?
The same height as Jay Cutler.
6'5".
Hang on.
No, that's the same height. That's the same height as Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, okay.
Bada boom.
I thought it was going to be the same height as Jay Cutler.
The question is Josh Allen. Hot wife?
I don't know. I don't think he has a wife.
So there you go.
I think he has a wife.
That is why there's no fit for him in my life.
I would have married that beanbag.
Well, this is where we'll turn it on to you guys. I was going to say these final thoughts, but we'll turn it on to you guys. What do you think about the Edmunds and Allen pick for the Bills?
Jermaine Edmunds.
Are they the Centerpieces?
I did too.
Yeah, that's what we said. We like that one.
That's a good
Let
value.
us know what
We
you
don't
guys
think they should have taken a quarterback at 7.
Let us know what you guys think down below in that
happening?
comment section.